Health is Wealth here on WOR, sponsored by Physicians Only CBD. Today, we're talking about testosterone, the good, the bad, the ugly, the connotations that surround it, the negative, labels, the positive things it can do for you. And Rob, this was all you today. You were really excited to do this. I have no idea about anything that is attached to testosterone. So I was super excited when you brought this up because now I get to learn something. And we brought on somebody that's been on the show before. Her name is Bonnie Luft. She's a psychotherapist, and we reached out to her, and she was excited to do this because she is a woman that actually knows something about testosterone, which I have nothing, nothing in common with her for that. But I feel like she's going to give us a little bit of insight on what it does to the mental, not just the body. And I feel like that's something that not just myself, but a lot of people who don't know much about it, or if you are on testosterone for a medical reason and you don't know maybe why you're feeling a certain way mentally, she'll be able to explain it a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. So Bonnie is really interesting because I find it interesting that there's two females on the show with a male,
Yeah.
and I'm curious to see how the dynamic's going to go with talking to two females about testosterone. But what you're saying is so interesting because I had significantly low testosterone levels as a really like when I was young in my 20s, and
Yeah.
what we figured out was when I was younger, I had a bad concussion, and the concussion rattled my
Wow.
pituitary gland enough that my body stopped producing the testosterone levels it had to. And a lot of things that I was going through mentally, right, at a young age with anxiety and depression and stuff like that, eventually I had doctors attribute it that a lot of it was because of my hormone regulations and my testosterone and stuff. So I think that's kind of where this is going to get really interesting in cases like that.
I do you now that you're saying this about a concussion, think about football players and hockey players and all of these contact sport athletes that constantly get concussions. Who knows what's going on with their, pituitary gland and their hormone levels, but yet they're not allowed to take these hormones. So that to me, I mean, that's a little crazy. I know nothing about sports. I know nothing about testosterone. I'm not saying, hey, give the athletes testosterone. What I'm saying is there should be a little bit more research if that's something that happened to you one time. These men
Abs-
and
Absolutely.
are getting smashed around on a daily basis. But let's bring Bonnie in here and let's get onto the mental side, the mental health side of testosterone. Hi,
Hi, thanks for having
welcome back.
me. Thank you. Thanks. I'm so excited to talk about this today.
Are you? I'm so excited to hear about it because I don't know if you heard, but I have no education on this. I am totally oblivious and ignorant to it because I really don't have to deal with it. So it's like, why do I need to add something onto my list of things that are just unnecessary to know about? I have a million other things going on. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to testosterone, what are, I guess, for low testosterone, are there ways to show like mental health, things that you could signs that your testosterone may be low in your emotions or something?
Yeah, so there's so much. I want to preface this by saying there's so much we don't know about this, right? And
Mhm.
how it interacts in our body and how it interacts with other hormones in our body. So scientists are studying that continually. But yeah, for low testosterone in men specifically, we know that it can be it can note like high levels of depression or anxiety, mood swings, irritability, stress and anxiety, and even sleep disturbance. I don't know if you experienced that, Rob, when you had your concussion, but it can reduce your cognitive ability and leave you feeling like you're sort of in a brain fog, which I know that a lot of people like are familiar with that feeling. So, did you experience any of that?
So I was a raging insomniac, and I still
Mhm.
struggle with it. And we were trying for so long to figure out why can't you sleep? I was trying sleep pills, this and that. And once I started my testosterone treatment listen, the testosterone treatment comes with a lot of other things too that you have to take to make sure things are regulated. But once I started my testosterone treatment, my sleep started to regulate within a month. And that was so interesting to me because my energy levels went through the roof, but at night, my sleep was so peaceful and relaxing. So when they told me, "Oh, your sleep is going to regulate with testosterone," I said, "Testosterone is going to jack me up. It's going to make me energized. It's going to make me feel like I want to run through a wall." And here I am at night getting such more restful sleep. So it really is crazy. Like you're saying, there's so much that we don't know, and there's so many connotations around it that you would think off the bat testosterone is going to make you jacked up, it's not going to make you relaxed. But for me, having such low levels, I actually leveled out and felt so much more peace, once I started taking the testosterone. So really incredible.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I think one of the things that's important to note is that we don't even know how much each individual needs at this time. So each individual male is different in the level of testosterone that they need. And so when we look at studies of testosterone, we can't pinpoint across the board what level belongs to like each, the population. We can say like in this particular male they did better with this level, and in that particular male had less anxiety and depression when they reached this level of testosterone. So you're right, there's so much that's unknown about this.
So Bonnie, the interesting thing to me that I want to get your opinion on is they did a lot of studies that I've read, and they'll measure, they'll take, they did it with rodents and squirrels, and then they did it with human beings. So what they've done is they've measured, say, a professional fighter's testosterone levels before his fight. And then what they do is they measure his levels directly after the fight that he won or directly after a fight that he lost. And when he wins that fight, the testosterone levels go through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the studies were saying that the testosterone levels when you win and when you succeed are so important for repeating that same, I would say, I guess, feeling, but it makes people more motivated. It makes them want to get up, makes them want to do more, and it's linked to their drive. So is that something that maybe in your practice you've noticed that, maybe guys with, say, higher levels of testosterone are more, I guess, linked to success rates in their career or in sports and just overall motivation to keep going?
Yeah, so a lot of studies pinpoint that in sports specifically, there's a lot more sporting success with higher testosterone. So not having results necessarily in my practice for people, I would say that it would vary. However, the data does show that there's lack of motivation when testosterone is low. So we would then correlate that if testosterone was leveled out and the person was feeling that it was where it needed to be, like a baseline, that they would have increased motivation, certainly.
Yeah,
Is there
pretty crazy.
Is there a reason why? I can't figure out how to ask this question properly because is there a reason scientifically why some men have lower testosterone and some don't? I guess.
Yeah, we don't know yet why.
Okay.
And like I was saying, each male is different. So if we measure Rob against someone else, the level that he would require,
Right.
Rob would require, would be different from the other person. So science isn't there yet. We're still studying that.
It's so crazy how the body works.
Yeah, it is.
And everyone's different, but
Wow.
it's crazy.
Yeah, I think paired with other hormones, right? How the testosterone interacts with the other hormones in our body would be important.
We'll be right back. More from Bonnie on Health is Wealth. We're not done talking about testosterone. I feel like I'm opening a whole new, like Pandora's box here. I'm learning so much about men. Might be what I needed, guys. We'll be right back. Health is Wealth on WOR. Welcome back to Health is Wealth on WOR. And today is an educational experience for me. Testosterone is what we are talking about. We have Bonnie Luft here with us. She's a psychotherapist, and she's getting into the entire mental health aspect of testosterone, high, low, all of that stuff. And Rob, this was all you today. You couldn't wait to talk about it. You're super educated on it. You've gone through testosterone. What is it? Is it treatments? Is it therapy?
Sure.
How would you?
Yeah, TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, is usually what it's referred to as.
Okay. So yeah, this was something that you were super passionate about, and I was like, yeah, let's talk about it because I don't know anything about it. So
yeah,
totally
so
down for it.
the reason I'm so passionate about it is because, and Bonnie, you could probably speak to this, but it's been, said from statistics that as a generation, our testosterone levels are decreasing as generations go on in males. So I've seen a lot of studies regarding that. And to me, that kind of gives us an unfair advantage, right? So men with lower levels of testosterone, in some instances, as we talked about, kind of the levels of motivation, the drive, the mental health, the sleep, even the physical attributes to having low testosterone, it makes certain things about being a man and maybe being almost a successful man a little bit harder. So that's why I'm so passionate about it, is because I see so many clients coming in to my gym every single day. And listen, by all means, we're trying everything before we tell them go get your testosterone levels checked.
Right.
But I have men that come into the gym and they have terrible sex lives with their wives, and they feel like less of a man, and they don't have energy to get up out of bed every day, and they're trying everything with their diet, and they have this belly fat that they can't lose. And a lot of times we try a lot of things, and sometimes we'll be like, listen, it wouldn't hurt to go to the doctor and get your testosterone levels checked. And there have been a handful of times where these guys come back and their testosterone levels are super low, and they make the decision whether to do it naturally, because there are natural herbs and stuff that you could take that have been proven to sometimes higher the testosterone levels. But whether they choose to do it naturally or under a doctor's supervision, a lot of times their quality of life gets significantly better. So that's why, to me, I'm so passionate about it, because anytime I mention testosterone to people that don't know about it, they automatically think the bad stuff. They think
Right.
sex crazed men, they think abuse, anger, and they think trying to get jacked in the gym. And there's so much
Right.
more to it. So much. So,
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I'm one of those people, and one of my very close family members um told me that they were using testosterone. And he's older, and I was like, ew, like in my head I'm like, I don't want to know about your sex life. Like, don't tell me this stuff. But he didn't directly say, "Hey, Dana, I'm using testosterone." It was a conversation I was a part of. He was telling another man, and I was just standing there. And I kind of like in my head was like, gross. I don't want to know about this guy's sex life. I don't want to know what he's doing
right.
and all that stuff. So I mean, that's where the mental, the connotations come. And I think, Bonnie, you can speak on this a little bit more. What the attachments, why people attach testosterone, which is a body, it's a hormone in our body, so it's scientific and medical. But
Mhm.
why is it attached to negative things, like talking about someone's sex life, like a personal thing, or an athlete using it, and it being used for steroids and roid rage and all of these other things? Why is that attached to it? Could you even explain that?
Yeah, I think it's just it's part of a thinking error in society, right? Where we attach a meaning to something that we don't really have a lot of information about. And
Yeah.
testosterone is required in our body to keep it moving in the right direction, right? And so there's many useful properties of it. It's not just used for our sex life or for building muscle, but those things are attributed to it. So I think because society understands them and the reasons behind them, that we attach that
Right.
to testosterone.
Yeah, I think that we see such negative stuff on the news. Like, you think of A-Rod, and you think
Mhm.
of, the athletes that have gotten caught using testosterone, whether it's football, hockey, basketball, whatever it is. And that's wrong. That's bad. They could be fined, or they could be kicked off the team. Or then you have all these other, the opposing fans, like, he's a cheater, this and
Mhm.
that. So I think a lot of it comes from that also, where you're seeing this, and somebody like me who's uneducated, I'm like, oh, testosterone's bad. You
Yeah,
know, it's you take testosterone, you get fined $500,000. It's not good.
sure.
So
So, I mean, I think what's interesting, and Bonnie, you could probably speak to this also, is listen, there's a lot of, things going on right now in the world, especially surrounding toxic masculinity, right? It's a term that we hear a lot. And I would say that maybe the reason there's such a stigma around testosterone maybe has some correlation to do with that toxic masculinity. So have you seen anything like that? I mean, does that sound like something that maybe I'm on the right track there? That listen, we hear testosterone, it's linked to more aggressive males, right? Men who
Mhm.
want to have sex more, and maybe that's linked to that toxic masculinity stigma that's kind of going on right now.
Yeah, sure. We certainly link testosterone to males, right? Even though we
right.
know that in utero there's testosterone and it's required. So testosterone's a normal hormone, but you're right. We do link it to males. And we do think that if there is an abundance of testosterone, that it creates impulsivity in males, and it creates aggression in males. And so when those things are linked, it does bring us to that theory that maybe, you know, the male, this toxic masculinity piece, where men must have high testosterone if they're acting in this particular way.
Mhm.
But that's not necessarily true.
Right,
And
he
I
could just
think
be he could just be an idiot.
he could just be an idiot. But I think that what we have to really look at is what are the consequences of a generation of men who have extremely low testosterone levels, right? Also, what is the consequences of a generation of men that have testosterone levels that are through the roof?
Yeah.
So either way, this is stuff that we've never really seen as a society looked at before. But Bonnie, I seen something interesting, and I know we have to wrap up soon, but you were talking about aggression, and it was said that a father's testosterone levels leading up to the weeks of a new child being born and right after that child is born will drop significantly to lower his aggression levels and to make him more caring. So isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Wow, that is amazing. It's amazing.
It's like the Three Little Bears. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's just
your
right.
testosterone levels.
Yeah, there's so much more to know about this topic. There really is. So
there really is.
Yeah.
So much. And I mean, just, you know, one show alone is not going to cover everything for me, at least. I'm going to go on a deep dive. But Bonnie, if somebody wants to find out more about you, or if they want to reach out, if they have questions, where can they go? Do you have a website or Instagram?
Yeah, they can find me. I have a website, bonnieluft.com, or Instagram, Bonnie M. Luft.
Well, you'll be back here because we're going to keep you around because we love having you on. This is Health is Wealth on WOR, sponsored by Physicians Only CBD. Bonnie Luft, psychotherapist. Thank you so much for coming by yet again and being so insightful.